Good morning. Today I want to share a reflection on judgment, stories, trauma programming, and how that I've experienced these patterns being illuminated, and maybe not, it would be great if they're eliminated, but the ways in which I'm learning or experimenting with dropping stories or reprogramming them, and then also how they reflect in my physical body and the bodies of, in my philosophy, most people are experiencing physical discomfort as a reflection of their holistic worldview, mental processes, emotional processes, and sometimes genuine structural issues. There's so many reasons why people have physical pain or discomfort, but I woke up on Friday morning with a really stiff neck, and I've often experienced stiff neck in my whole life. It's actually been one of the most consistent issues that I've had, and as I've been unmasking a lot of avoidance of looking at trauma patterns, maladaptions, I've been being able to see more clearly because of some medical and mental intervention that I've been doing lately for my health, that it's become so obvious to me that whereas I knew before I was the cause of my own suffering, but now it's even more easy to see the issues that are wanting or inviting to be dismantled. And when I've reflected on the neck and healing my neck over the years, I do believe it has to do with perspective, because there's an inflexibility of being able to see all the options. And when it comes to neuroplasticity, and when I'm learning about the default mode network of the brain, the part that tells the stories to give us context for what could be expected to avoid pain and seek pleasure. And those pathways, like the road less traveled, of course, is not as clear. So how can I create these pathways for myself that are so unused? And what physiologic, mental, emotional, spiritual components or variables allows me to create that neuroplasticity, to create new pathways, to have the biological, chemical components to have that be available to me, but then also to interrupt my thought patterns and be able to say, this is irrational, this is not the whole picture. And the example I'm going to use today is just that I've often felt very alone in this world. And I was speaking with a community member yesterday about it, and she was sharing this similar idea. It's like the feeling of something being off or wrong, or in my case, feeling alienated, feeling othered, feeling misunderstood is a big wounding of mine. And so then I'm constantly looking for reinforcement of that story, and also the judgment that I have, the lack of compassion that I have towards myself, even greater than the lack of compassion for others, because I do feel compassion for myself and others, but I find that I've been using my voice in my head in abusive ways towards myself to punish myself. And in the book I'm reading, Your Brain's Not Broken, which is about ADHD, it's talking about these malicious motivations, malicious motivators, the ways in which we try to emotionally manipulate ourselves to perform better. And some of those things could be shaming and blaming, and some of them could be anger or sadness, or anxiety, the things that we think, oh, if I feel this emotion, it will motivate me to do better next time. But as Wayne Dyer says in his book, Erroneous Zones, most of these emotions are not actually adding, they're not really helping, they're actually more harmful and expending energy that could be used much more efficiently elsewhere. So for me, it's not about, I don't want to be in a moralization of my own mentality that I'm right or wrong or good or bad or weak or strong, but that was what was trained by Catholicism, by maybe parental reinforcement of morality. And for me, with my clients, with myself, I'm really stuck sometimes wanting to find a different avenue for contextualizing the world that can be more about, these are my values, these are my goals, what actions are more in alignment with my goals, which actions are more out of alignment with my goals. And in that way, I'm better able to orient myself towards what is giving me more energy, what is depleting my energy or distracting me from what I'm saying that I want to do. And in this way, it's more about integrity, not with an external code of morality, but more about my internal agreement with myself and how in coherence can I be with myself. So the invitation in this case is that I often project before I go to social events that I'm going to not enjoy things as much because I get a lot of social rumination, you could say. I'm constantly strategizing and checking, am I okay? Are they okay? Is everything okay? And it takes a lot of energy to do that, but it comes from a protective mechanism, of course. And so my projection was that these people or this community or whatever it was that I was telling myself, oh, they're not really my people. Like, and this is often a thing that happens, and it has nothing to do with them personally. They could very well be my people, but I'm just having that old story come up. And what it's projecting to me is that if I go somewhere, I'm going to be expended of my energy, I'm going to feel depleted, I won't feel in connection. And then oftentimes it will be the opposite, but I won't remember that because I'm still reinforcing the old story. And so what was really beautiful about yesterday is that I'm consciously reminding myself, like, look at how your expectation and the self-fulfilling prophecy is not matching up, right? So that's great that I still put myself to go to the path that I thought was correct for me. And feeling deeply connected with even some people that I had maybe written off as not having the capacity or willingness or interest to fulfill my my needs with connection or artistic expression or witnessing or complexity, whatever it may be, and feeling I really proved myself wrong. But yeah, I'm still having the neck pain because I've been shit talking myself a lot in the past few days, and I'm not seeing all the perspectives. I'm feeling really limited in my view, so that's been reflected for me. And I think the invitation is just to continue exploring how can I find new ways to rewire these pathways. And one of the best ways that I've found actually has been releasing emotional patterns through essential oils and emotional freedom technique. So I'm really interested to know if any of you have listened this far on my 9-minute message, if you've had any success with rewriting those patterns, and what permission slips or what avenues have you used that you felt are most effective in dropping the programs, dropping the stories, or rewriting them completely and inviting in a new story. All right, have a great day.